What's up, guys? I want to explain to you the construction method product attribute. This is an extremely important attribute because it determines a lot of the sizing of the parts inside of the cabinet. You want to think of the construction method in terms of the overall method that you require to build these cabinets or this grouping. So this includes both uppers and bases, and the formulas are looking here in almost every scenario. So it's important that we get these right. Here's an example of maybe a different kind of construction method: integrated toe kicks, leg levelers. Another one might be blind dado, face frame, so on and so forth. Those are the kinds of concepts in terms of what this means. Cabinet Vision would look at this as an assembly method. Other systems are looking at it in terms of a construction type, so on and so forth. First category is the catalog. This is an export code used in most of the export codes for which catalog are we going to pull it from. Most of the engineering packages have a catalog, and you're going to determine what that looks like here. Your export is the name of the construction type or the assembly method. Pricing ID. This is determining which pricing formula to look to. Now, if you look over on this is a pricing formula. There's a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, which has been explained in other videos. But if you look here, this is the pricing ID. A 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, and you're looking to one of these for which type you're going to be using. Now, if you consider which one you chose, that will determine which ones you're going to be using here. Now, a lineal foot price, for example, this is where you would put that value, a per box price here. If you don't use those, just put a 0. Now, the back type. Back type is determining which product attribute your backs are going to look to. Some people use a 1/4 inch back, some people use 5/8, some people use 3/4, so on and so forth. If there is a 0 value here, you will be looking to your box material. So a 3/4 material or a 5/8 or whatever your thickness is over there, it will be looking to that product attribute, and it will be looking to its thickness on those parts to make its decisions for sizing, etc. Now, a 1 is going to point to your back material. So a 0 is to your box material, a 1 is to your back material. I know that's a little bit confusing, but the concept is that if it's not a 1, it's going to look and nest it with the rest of the other parts because it's the same thickness of whatever that box material is. So for those of you using a 3/4 inch back, you'd put a 0 here. For those of you using a 1/4 inch captured back, you'd put a 1, or a 5/8 back, anything different from what you would be doing on the rest of the cabinet. The back inset is the distance from the back that cabinet is going, or that back is going to set in. For a nailer, for example. Adjustable shelf gap, that is the distance of your adjustable shelf, or the subtraction of the size from the inside opening so that you have a shelf pin allowed to sit in there. The dado add, this is used for things like a blind dado where you're going to make your top part a little bit wider. For example, say you wanted to add a 1/4 inch on each side. It's going to rest on top of the left and the right. That is what that would be used for. So you could put, say, 1/2 inch there, 0.5, and that's going to add a 1/2 inch to the top, the bottom, and any of those cross members. Rollout spacer is the amount of the size or the dimension of everywhere that there's a hinge plate, where that is going to add a rollout spacer. Some people use 3/4, some use 1 inch, so on and so forth. Front stretcher is the width of that front stretcher. This is the width of the back stretcher, then the width of the nailer. Banding instruction. A 0 is nothing, where it means you're going to use no banding. A 1 is going to mean that you band the front sides of all of the parts. Now, if it's a interior banding, it's going to select an interior. to match the box material. If it is an exterior banding, it will choose that here and make these the appropriate decisions. A 2 means you're going to band the front, the exterior colors, but you're also going to band the back side of the parts. A 3 is a decision where you'll be banding all the way around the part. So anything that is exposed or facing the front of the cabinet will be an exterior banding, and anything on the inside of the cabinet will be an interior banding in those decisions. A leg leveler is a 0 or a 1. Whether a 0 means there are no leg levelers and a 1 means there are leg levelers. A front toe, a 0 means there's no front toe, and a 1 means there is a front toe. Sleeper add is the width of the cabinet at the point that you're going to add a sleeper. A clip back is the width of a clipped back corner cabinet, the clip back piece there. What width is that? A back dado. This is the dado addition to the back of the piece that you're going to dado into the parts. So, and this is total. So width and so for both the width and the height, how far in are you going to dado that part into the adjoining members? Your per leg price is the cost of any leg levelers that you might be dealing with. And your ID ultimately is just a unique ID for that particular construction method. This can be used throughout the system if you want to reference that as a unique type of construction part. It's not used very much, and you really don't need to be very particular about that unless you want to add formulas that will control different things inside of the system based on that ID. So with that being said, those are the construction method breakdown.